Hello and welcome to Brand on Demand,
Brand on Demand.
the only podcast dedicated to creative entrepreneurs and helping them grow their brands. With your host, BrandGuy Mikey. Okay, this one says, how has it been working with a female boss? Have you ever had a female boss?
Yes, I have.
How has it been working with a female boss? Like I said, these are random questions. They might not make sense, but they are random questions.
I feel like somebody deliberately asked me to ask that question.
Yeah.
All right. I would say that for me, the most progress I've had in my career has been when I worked with a female boss.
Right.
The person who has had the most impact on my career in the last couple of years has been the boss I used to work with, who was a female.
Right.
And I think that naturally I was somebody who was raised by my mother and my grandmother to a large extent.
Right.
So I have a lot of respect for women.
Right.
They tend to be, they were the strongest people I saw around me growing up. So unlike, I think, the typical cultural, traditional male perspective where you see the female as weak, I've always seen them as stronger personalities. They're able to tolerate a lot more than we can.
Yeah.
For me, I think that if women give you a chance, women are more empathetic and sympathetic to a lot of things. And my boss in particular had this perspective that even she as a woman who is disadvantaged because, you know, as a woman, you have to prove that you're as smart as men.
Exactly.
You're already starting from behind the finish line in order to get the kind of respect. So she does not understand why you as a man who doesn't have those disadvantages is not doing twice as much as she should.
Yeah.
So she constantly would push me. And I think the one thing that I appreciated about her was that she created an environment where I could argue with her.
Okay.
If I had a different opinion, she would argue with me and I would lose. And she would tell me why I lost. But in that process, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And she never took it as you're being disrespectful or you're arrogant.
Right.
As opposed to the times I work with men where it becomes this whole ego battle. For her, it was more like, I don't know, the motherly touch was there.
Yeah.
But then also I have extremely high expectations of you and you're not allowed to hold yourself to lower standards.
Exactly.
And I attribute the whole fact that I was able to transition into my current role to her. She used to tease me and call me local champion.
Okay.
And the reason for this was that she always used to say that out there in the more diverse and global world, as a young Ghanaian or young African, you have to do twice as much to earn half the respect.
Exactly.
So if you are here in a local space and you're thinking that you're already good, then all you are is a local champion because in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. That's what she said. Yeah. So because of that, I always held myself to more global standards. So you act local, but you think global.
Exactly.
And in that process, I was able to transition. So I thoroughly enjoyed my time working with a female boss. Wow. I can't say that for every female boss, but at least the last one I worked for was a really great experience.
That was a great answer, actually. That was a great answer.
I had to dig deep for that.
I know, right? Okay, moving on to the next one. I think the thicker sheets have the most. Oh, you have 3 questions actually.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought that was it.
Oh no. We're just getting
wow.
started.
This juice will finish early.
Okay, so as a role model yourself, what advice would you give to young people coming up, watching you today? What's that one single advice that you give to someone watching us today? Above all the advice that you give.
That's a difficult one. Okay. I think my single piece of advice would be this line that I've always kept in my mind.
Right.
That life is unfair. But sometimes it's unfair in your favor.
Okay.
So you can't complain when it's unfair in someone else's favor.
Right.
There's so many things that we can't control.
Yep.
You can't control how smart you are. There's always somebody who's going to be smarter than you.
Exactly.
Better looking than you, from a better family, with a better upbringing. Those are not things within your control. What you can control is how much work and effort you put into it.
Right.
So aim to outwork everyone.
Right.
You need to be so good that people can't ignore you. Right. And when you get to the point where people can't attack your work. So they start attacking you. Look at his hair. That's when you realize that now your work is at that level where people cannot fault it. So my advice would be that life will tend to be unfair in your favor at some point and unfair in someone else's favor. You can't complain when it's unfair in someone else's favor. You just need to make sure that you're preparing yourself for when it's time for it to be unfair in your favor, so that you meet that opportunity and then you achieve what your goal is. So that would be my advice. And we're already sweating.
Oh, no, don't sweat. Don't sweat. Okay, what would you do if you were president?
Wow.
In this time of, pandemic and everything, what would you do if you were president?
In this time of pandemic, I don't think...
The question is, what would you change if you were president?
What would I change if I were president?
In Ghana.
I really do try to avoid any kind of political discussion. Not at all. In fact, I feel bad that I'm not political, because my friend would tell me I'm part of the problem in Ghana. In fact, I'm not political.
Yeah.
But I think that just from my point of view, the one thing I've always been passionate about is education.
Right.
In the sense that I feel that because of the way we are educated, sometimes we come out of school or we go through school feeling like, one, we're either not smart or we're average, just because it's basically a set of questions that you answer, and your ability to imbibe knowledge and reproduce it is really what is determined as what is intelligent or not.
Yeah.
So because of my own story, I went through school thinking I was an average student. I was just okay. And it was after I came out of school and realized that there are a lot of people who are autodidacts and can learn in different ways. So I realized that I learn better with multimedia. So if you give me an educational curriculum where I have to watch YouTube a little, read a little bit of text, that's practical, I am able to excel even more. Right? When we were growing up, if people had known that there was something like having a career as a YouTuber, I think that there's a lot of things that they would have done differently. I think that our educational system doesn't give us enough room to explore and limits us to this narrow definition of what a smart child or an intelligent child is. And so a lot of us grow up thinking that we are average. We're not that much. We are not all that. So if I were president, one thing I'd change is to bring a lot more variety into the educational system. Give people a chance to explore their creativity. You could be sitting here and for all you know, you would have been a world-class surfer. But if you told your mother that's what she wanted to do in Ghana, it would be exactly. So I think that's the one thing I'd want to change, to bring a lot more diversity into education, to give people a chance to explore their creativity and know that they can compete on a world-class stage.
That's interesting to know. I think we should do your final question, but this question is going to be for Toastmasters.
All right.
Final question. I like the look on your face.
Let me see one that is at the bottom.
Question. Okay.
All right.
Okay. This one says, what is your deepest fear? I like the way you say, your deepest fear.
I think I would liken this to what keeps me up at night.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing that keeps me up at night, and it's such a coincidence that you talk about it, because even last night I was thinking about this. I don't advise that people worry about it as much, but it's something that I always find myself worrying about.
Right.
And it's whether I'm doing everything today to set myself up for success in the future, or to set my future up for success in the future, but my family up for success in the future.
Yeah.
I really am afraid that one day I will wake up and say those words, had I known. So I'm constantly plagued with this whole thing that are you doing enough? Are you being lazy? You look like you're busy, but are you being productive? Are the decisions and choices you're making today going to be something that your future self will take you for? I think those are the kind of things that I'm always thinking about. So it's like managing your future brand now, right? Will you look back at the brand that you created and be happy about it? I think that is one of the biggest fears, that I'll wake up one day and say,
it's your brand on demand.
It's my brand on demand. It's my brand on demand. Exactly. I think that's what my deepest fear would be at this time.
Wow.
I mean, that's apart from snakes and I don't like crawling creatures at all. at all.
I see. That's very interesting. All right, guys. So this has been the short segment where we ask random questions about anything, and everything. This has been Brand on Demand. We have been discussing personal and professional development with Toastmasters in Ghana, and I've had an exciting time. I don't know about you guys, but I think this episode was made for me. I've learned so much from Toastmaster Jeremy right here. You guys can go check out his YouTube channel. I'm going to throw that right here. Go check it out. Subscribe. If you have any further questions, make sure you go into his comment section. Drop all of those questions in there, and I'm sure he's going to answer all of your questions. Where else can we find you on social media?
So I'm on LinkedIn with the same name, Jeremy. I think that is where my professional channel is. And I'm also on Instagram at Saint_Remy_. I think you can throw that in.
I'll throw that right here.
And on Facebook, Jeremy Quainoo as well. I don't really have much of a Twitter presence though. You probably have to teach me how to grow that.
I think you should. I think you should, because Twitter is all about, yeah. So I think that's great. Okay, guys. So yeah, there you have it. Personal and professional development with Toastmasters. If you're looking for an avenue to grow yourself, you've attended a lot of seminars, conferences in the past, and you're not seeing results. I think now you should take it up a notch. Make sure you look into what Toastmasters are if you haven't heard of it, and it's going to be a great opportunity for you to kind of grow yourself, grow your professional brand, and put your brand on demand, like I always say right here on this channel. So yes, if you haven't heard of it, go check it out. Go to YouTube, try and do a lot of. When I want to join anything, I try and gather all the information I need about the thing before I take that bold step, because it's going to cause a change, an erratic change in your life. You're not going to be able to do all the things that you routinely do, in your normal course of life. It's going to really alter some of the things you do. So make sure you find all the information you need on Toastmasters in Ghana before you jump, on there. And I can say that from here, I'm going there. I'm going to join there. So the next time you see me, you call me TM Mikey. TM Mikey right here. So yeah, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. It has been pleasure. An amazing discussion with you. And I'm sure this is not going to be the last discussion having you on this platform right here. And before you go, final words, anything you want to share. If you have any questions for me as well, because it's not like an interview, you can also ask me some questions, and then I'll feel like I'm also a guest on someone else's show. Yeah, so ask me some few questions, and then we could wrap it up. You tell us your final words, and then we jump on to the next episode.
Sure. I think my final words would be that I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Right. I really enjoyed the discussion, and I'm very impressed with the initiative that you set up, and thoroughly impressed with the fact that a lot of the things that you're doing are individual by yourself, and it's really inspiring for me.
Thank you so much also for spending time with me, taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with me, and then with my audience as well right here on Brand on Demand. Brand on Demand is a platform where we kind of try to push the boundaries of self-development, to push the boundaries of entrepreneurship, because I feel like right here on this side of the world, right, if you're an entrepreneur, you're on your own. Nobody cares about you that much, unless of course people think, okay, they can buy something off you, they can buy something off you, right? So it's kind of sometimes very difficult for young people to start anything on their own, because you have to be able to push it from ground zero to a point where people start appreciating it, and that is the hardest part of the journey.
Exactly.
So I think this platform was created to help kind of close the gap a bit, if not at all, close the gap a bit, and then share some exciting insights with young people who want to start something out of nothing.
Exactly.
So this is Brand on Demand. We are glad that you are now part of the brand.
Happy
and
to be
looking
here.
forward to doing more things, in the future going forward.
100%.
All right, guys. So yes, if you guys enjoyed this as well, make sure you let me know down in the comment section. If you have any questions for me on Brand on Demand, drop them. If you have any product, if you have any brand idea that you want to share with me, share with me down in the comment section. I'll be glad to look into it, and if you're an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur that you want some shout outs on this channel, link up to me. I'll definitely throw that in there. Big shouts going out to Spicy Girl, episode sponsor. Big shouts going out to Pyramid. Pyramid is an online branding agency where you can, go in for your logos, flyers, stickers. If you want any animation, you can go on there, Pyramid. Until the next episode, I'll see you guys on the next one.
Hello and welcome to Brand on Demand, the only podcast dedicated to creative entrepreneurs,
BrandGuy Mikey, right?
helping them grow their brands. With your host, BrandGuy Mikey.